Hey guys, over the last week, we've all seen the video and the death of George Floyd, and it's been very painful, I think, for all of us to watch. It's been disturbing on many different levels, and I think we've all felt violated for him and for many people in that community. The one thing it has done is it has created hopefully a new conversation on racism in our country. As a matter of fact, in thinking about this, I actually called a friend of mine of 25 years. A man by the name of Jermel Mayo. He grew up in the inner city in New York City. He is today an evangelist and was a pastor for many years as well. What I love about this relationship with him is I knew I could trust him, and so I decided to give him a call because I wanted to ask him some questions about what it's like being an African American male in this country, about viewing something like the death of George Floyd and many other situations. He's an extremely balanced guy. He understands both sides of the equation. And I can honestly tell you, I came out of that conversation with a new perspective on what it was like to live in his shoes growing up. I don't want to spend the next few minutes talking about how bad the death of George Floyd was, because I think we all really agree on that. But what I do want to do is to use that as a springboard to recognize for just a moment, what do we have to do with this as Christians? Where are we as Christians in all of this? And I think we have to understand that we desperately need the gospel of Jesus Christ. If there's ever a day that America needed Jesus, it's today. If there's ever a day that the sin of racism needs the love of Christ infused into it, it's right now. And we have an opportunity. And so let me just say, first of all, that we need the gospel of Jesus Christ because we need to be able to look through things like the death of George Floyd through a lens, through a filter of the scriptures and the love of Jesus Christ. Because the truth is, this may have happened a week ago, but this may also happen many other times outside of a video. And there are a lot of people who are hurt through that. We need a fresh view of the love of Jesus Christ to honestly weep over what happened, and for those who are hurting and wondering what their future may hold in a world like this. We need Christ to help us resist the natural temptation to judge people based upon the color of their skin, what language they speak, what country they're from, what neighborhood they grew up in, what part of the country they're from. It's a natural tendency to judge people in those ways. But we need Christ to help us see through his eyes so that we don't just look at people differently, but we can actually celebrate those differences. We as a people, and more importantly as the Church of Jesus Christ, we are so much stronger when we're together. When we can appreciate someone because of their blackness, their whiteness, their brownness, because of their language differences, because of where they came, when we realize that we are better when we are together. This is an opportunity for the church. This is the time for us to step up. And my prayer is that in 20 years, when people look back and they remember this video of George Floyd, they say the world is different. But not just because people protested in certain ways, but because the church led the way. We can lead the way. We can lead the way in this. But it's going to take measured and wise approaches on our parts. It's going to take us reaching out, just as I did to my friend. Talking. If you have a black friend or a brown friend or someone from another country, to stop them and say, can we have this discussion? I just want to get to know you better, and I want you to know me better. It's going to take us stopping and really getting to understand where these people are. It's going to take us celebrating the differences, praying with these people, understanding what their life is like on a daily basis. It's going to take us having the courage at times to stand up if we think something is genuinely racist. If we think someone is genuinely being mistreated based upon their economic level, based upon the fact that they can't speak English very well. It's going to take courage on our part. But that's what Christ has called us to. This is the gospel in action. This is what Christ would do. This is what Jesus did while he was here on earth. But the truth is that many times the church is separated in itself. Churches all across America, all across the world, many times there is racism, there is bigotry, there are people that are separated even in the church. What I'm grateful for is I think there are many people in the church saying enough is enough. We're done with that. And I don't know if you know this, that the Apostle Paul dealt with this. Matter of fact, in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 14, he was dealing with Jews and Gentiles who were looking and they're saying, well, you are not truly a Jew. And the Gentiles are saying, well, you think you're better than us because you are a Jew. And so Paul wrote this under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. It says, for he himself, speaking of Christ, he himself is our peace, who has made the two groups one and has destroyed the barrier, the dividing wall of hostility. So there was a hostile wall between these two groups. And he said, Christ has destroyed that. And how can we repeat Paul's words if there is a wall in the church? Now you can very simply say, but when I see somebody who is black in my church, I see someone who is Hispanic in my church, I say hello to them. Okay, do you really know them? Do you know what their hopes and their dreams are? Do you want their children to have the same opportunities as your children? Beyond, I'm not talking about what we say here, but do you genuinely love and pray for those people and want them to have the same opportunities? Do you rejoice with and appreciate and say, I'm so grateful that the church is so diverse? Guys, when we can start celebrating that, we've gone so much further. And the gospel will go further. And we'll have the smile of Christ all over our church. Guys, I want you to know, we're not going to be just part of someone complaining about what's going on, but we're going to be part of the solution. Thank you so much for listening to me. We love you. Cannot wait to see you. Cannot wait to worship with you very, very soon. God bless you.